Hello everybody, and welcome back to the Fortress of Solitude. Today we're going to be checking out Ultimates Issue 3 by Dennis Camp and Juan Frigeri. The Maker's world continues to change with the absence of its master, and this time we see how the Maker changed the Hulk, or how Banner's atomic bomb mishap affected a small Pacific island village, which upon the bomb being detonated is bathed in 80 million tons of radioactive fallout. This issue sees Dennis bring in the now classic Jonathan Hickman info pages that Hickman begun doing heavily in his Krakoa era X books. It's a fantastic in-universe way to kind of lore dump and fill in some of the gaps that the actual story doesn't get to, and Dennis does just that, revealing just some utter terrifying consequences of Banner's experiments in this little atoll. Things like children dying screaming from radiation burns, or pregnant women giving birth to malformed jellyfish-like things. Dennis didn't have to go so hard on this, but I really like how it paints this world as a cold and bleak counter to Earth 616, and also just how much the Maker poisoned it by changing little things throughout history and just how drastic of an effect that has had on this world. In the present day, Iron Lad, Thor and Sif arrive at this gamma-poisoned set of islands, which have become known as Monster Island, and the heroes find out pretty quickly why, as they are attacked by gamma-irradiated giant lizards, pretty much Godzilla-like monsters. The monsters' attack shows this portion of the team's dynamic very well, since we haven't really had the Iron Lad, Thor, Sif combo. We've had Iron Lad with Reed and some of the other heroes, but never really this combo. So here we get to see like Tony wants to study these creatures because they're weird and wonderful, and he wants to not really hurt them because these creatures never asked to be what it is. And that's contrasted nicely by Thor and Sif, who are warriors at heart, so of course they want to kill the giant monster. I like that Thor's reasonings beyond being a warrior on an adventure, as that he can feel this island is dangerous and everything there will try and kill them, hence why he's immediately going into attack mode and trying to kill everything before it kills him. Eventually, the team come in contact with another gamma-irradiated monster, this time something that looks kinda similar to like the Abomination, or like an ultimate version of the Abomination. This is really weird, scaly, bipedal monster that viciously attacks the team, shrugging off their attacks like it's nothing. Thor, however, is ready to unleash its full power on the monster through Mjolnir, but is stopped by Lajori Joanna Zikaria, the Ultimate She-Hulk. The Ultimates is well known for its redesigns of characters. Like in the original Ultimate series, so many of the characters had undergone redesigns both in costume and who they were as characters, and here is no different. This change for She-Hulk is a very good one. This shifts She-Hulk from the cousin of Bruce Banner to a Pacific Islander who, along with her people, suffered from Banner's hubris, and I think that's a genius play, since there's still that connection to Bruce Banner, but this version is wholly their own person, separated from Bruce. The jury reveals that she's the protector of the atoll and its inhabitants, including all of the flora and fauna, and reveals the abomination that attacked the team is merely a baby. Like, literally upon singing a lullaby, it transforms back into a human baby. The jury's connections to Banner also become more clear. She reveals that the scientists, led by Banner, came to their atoll years ago and tried to move the people out so they could conduct their atomic tests, but the people wouldn't leave their homeland, so instead Banner just said fuck it and dropped the bombs regardless, and it's left Lajori with a very righteous hatred for Bruce, and really all outsiders, being she doesn't trust Tony or Thor or Sif one bit, especially when Tony believes that there will be some sort of Hulk army on the island thanks to witnessing Lajori's immense stature. Lajori decides to show Tony this army he thinks he's going to have, leading them to her village, which is filled with crippled, irradiated monsters. Not some big strong army Tony hoped it would be. I really applaud Dennis for going all the way with this and not shying away from the fact that Gamma is horrible stuff and outside of the Hulk, and very few select others like She-Hulk or like the Abomination. It has disastrous effects on people, and here we get to see that taken to like an extreme. We see people who are completely crippled by it because their brains have like taken over their entire body and kind of lost their minds inside their own head. There's a person who is literally like sentient nerve endings, so literally a a gust of wind is agony to them and they live in terrible constant pain and can't do anything about it. Just these really cool looking designs, but also horrific designs. This is like gamma radiation taken to the extreme, and I love that Dennis and Juan Frigeri, who the artist behind all of these wonderful designs, went that way and went that far to show just the ravaging effects of gamma poisoning. Tony offers to help the people, but Lajuri and her people don't want his help, since this is their ancestral land and they live there and they're going to die there too. On top of that, we learn that Banner and his people kind of keep an eye on the island and kind of keep them under wraps. He doesn't want anyone figuring out what happened on that island or any of the people getting off, because of course that would of course reveal his plans to everyone, or like what he did on this island. But also gamma creatures out in the world's probably not a good thing. Lajuri ends up giving Tony an ultimatum: fix their island and only then will she fight back with him. And I thoroughly have enjoyed how the Ultimates have become these kind of champions of the oppressed and of the common people, of just the lower class people in this world that's filled with elites and New World Order stuff. They are the champions of the lower class people. They aren't just some team who, you know, assemble to fight, you know, the big villain every week. They come and trying to help the people, and they're tackling the world's actual problems, and the fact that they have trouble with it is something that I really like as well. They're just not solving the problems straight away. And I like here Tony is even wondering how the hell is he going to save this island, just because of the immense resources it's going to take, resources that he doesn't actually have anymore. So he's got to actually think with his mind, and I'm sure Reed is going to come up with a way to help them as well. But it's really fun seeing these characters have to struggle to try and help the world that needs fixing. This is all added on top of the challenge of preparing for the Maker's return as well. It's not as simple as just gathering all of these heroes together and kind of fortifying a defense and then going, okay, we're ready to, you know, punch some things. Tony's got to systemically change everything about the world in order to get ready for the coming war. Speaking of war, while Tony agrees to help Lajuri's people and the island, Hulk is made aware of this, having been watching Tony's entire trip onto the island via spy cameras he has over the place, and he is not happy, ordering the immortal weapons to be assembled and the Ultimates to be dealt with. I'm really looking forward to diving a bit more into the Hulk, since he's always just kind of been on the outskirts of all of these books, just kind of been there but never really been a big part of them, and I like that we're finally getting into his side of the world and what he's been responsible for as a villain. I also like that he's in league with the Monks of Kunlun, Iron Fist stuff. It's an interesting mixture to take this character who is known for anger, known for rage and all that, and putting him with, you know, Zen-like monks, and he has become this very Zen-like focused Hulk, and that's one hell of a dangerous villain for the Ultimates to go up against, and I'm very excited to see them fight him. Ultimates continues to wow me with just how deep it's diving into Earth 6160, this time focusing on the literal fallout from Bruce Banner becoming the Hulk decades before, and the effect it's had on a small island. The focus of the Ultimates as protectors of the common folk and solver of the world's problems, not heroes who solely fight supervillains on a weekly basis, is so damn interesting, and Dennis Camp's attention to detail throughout both the info pages scattered throughout this issue and how the characters carry themselves and react to this world is just top notch. I loved all of the interactions in this book. The team dynamic is just wonderful and completely different than what we're used to. It's just firing on all cylinders. I'm going to give this issue a 10 out of 10.